All right, so let's get rolling. EJay, Eric, hey, great to see you again. Let us review last week's game results. We won't talk about my results, or lack thereof results. I think it's more. Although, like you said, Soccer Rob. Dude, my heart's
Rob,
out
sorry,
to you.
bud.
Yes, heart's out to you for missing everything.
Every game, not one game right. You know who had a decent week? Cookie.
Cookie did.
Cookie
And,
had a good week.
I thought I took care of Cookie, but
who
Cookie's hanging in
didn't
there.
have a good week? This guy
You?
and that guy.
Oh, it was so bad.
It was not good.
I'm going to have simple player number 3, my youngest, 15-year-old.
Okay.
16-year-old, excuse me. I'm just going to have him pick them. And you know how much he knows about Division III soccer? He knows that every time a football game comes on, I always just remind him that Mount Union's going to win. Doesn't matter.
There you go.
NFL, that's it. That's the extent of his experience, Division III.
I think I'm going to start using the Diane Chambers strategy of picking games from Cheers, which is colors.
Oh, that's right.
Or nicknames. Right? What was it? What'd she say? A bear can't beat a giant, or something like that. A dolphin can't beat a bear.
Yeah, and then you'll get the Cardinals, Catholic Cardinals will play the Blue Jays of E-Town.
Yeah.
Who wins that battle? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
what do you want to cover first? You want to talk about a couple of the games, or?
Yeah, let's just quickly go through the games, just what we saw. So Friday we saw Wisconsin North Park, 0-0 draw. Surprised there was no goals. I thought if a draw, I thought there'd at least be some goals. Couple interesting things there. Without getting into too much detail, North Park picked up 5 yellow cards on only 9 fouls. That's impressive.
Nice. How's that
impressive.
Happen? Okay.
Wisconsin played today. They went down 2-0 in 15 minutes and then scored 5 goals and won 5-4.
Yeah. Did you watch that? That was just crazy.
I did not watch it.
I did.
I looked at the box score and was shocked.
They just throttle team. It's almost like if they could physically step on their throat and just that's what they do.
Which makes the North Park draw at 0-0 really interesting.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about North Park? Maybe.
Yeah.
Something to keep an eye
on. They also, Eau Claire has this kid up top who's actually very, very good. It's center forward. I forget his name, but the kid can make things happen.
Well, you need a goal scorer.
You need a goal scorer. Sure. It's a game of goals, as I tell everyone. It's a game of goals.
Put the round thing in the rectangle, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Kenyon's a big winner. Statement win against Hopkins.
Oh my gosh!
And then they tie in F&M today.
Yeah. Well, Hopkins with 8 seconds left, they scored. I think it was, and then I watched the Franklin and Marshall one, and I will, because who is it? Sierra FD3 Soccer, who's F&M.
Son is
yes. Son is a
Rowan,
former goalkeeper, correct?
At F&M. Okay.
At F&M. And I have to say that I originally thought that Kenyon was robbed. 4 minutes left in the first half. They had a goal called back for an offside that I thought was non-existent, and come to find out that it was a legit call. So the keeper came out, made a save, defender steps on the line, ball gets through to the Kenyan player who is in front of the Kenyan player who's on the front line. But when the keeper's out that far, you need 2 defenders back.
Right.
Yeah, and so he was in an offside position, even though I'd said, "Oh, they got robbed." So
they
were not.
There was a pass at that point.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
They
Okay.
did not. They did not. They were not robbed.
Yeah.
It was a legit call. So I beg forgiveness. Beg forgiveness for that. So.
All right.
Thinking I know more than everyone, which I do, but I try to humble myself every so often for appearances.
What I've learned about at least this week's pool is that you talk about the social influencing that you do. Clearly, you nor I are influencing anybody because we're at the way bottom of the list.
We are anti-influencing. I think that's what it is.
Right.
It's like, what do they say? Do the other.
Yeah. Do the opposite. Right?
That's why everybody's got 60 points and we got like 10 and 5. Like, how's that happen?
I know. Although I do take some solace on Rowan.
Yes.
I thought they were going to beat F&M, and they
they almost did. They came this close.
Right. And then today they absolutely hammered Hopkins 3-1. Rowan's the real deal.
Rowan's the real deal. You know what was interesting about today's game? They just let Hopkins do whatever they want.
Play with the ball.
Play with the ball. Do your thing. Do your thing. And then, bam, they would come at him and pick off the, like, just made them, like, again, I don't know. Can't tell you how many shots. But they would have scored 3 goals if they had 3 opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, that's how good they were. And credit to them. Credit to them.
This is, I think that Rowan's got obviously they've always had a very good team, and that's kind of what I was saying the other day. Yeah. Even though I was the only one I think that picked Rowan, and almost won that one. But Rowan is good, always has been good.
Yeah.
And I think this year, especially with what we've seen so far, they're a team to watch.
Yeah,
I think they've served notice.
They could be the NJAC. They can be the team out of the NJAC.
Right.
Like, legit. Yeah. Like, I don't... Yeah. Montclair continues to not impress me. Yesterday, I thought they were a little bit better against MSOE and Montclair. And then today, they looked better against who they play. Chapman out of California. Right. Yeah. But are a shadow of themselves. So, anyhow.
Yeah. And then, the NESCAC games were kind of what we expected as well. Tufts Williams was a close game. Tufts gets the win, which wasn't unexpected. Connecticut Amherst, we knew it was going to be tough for Connecticut. We know Amherst is probably the top of the conference right now. And then Hamilton Middlebury, kind of what we expected there too. Middlebury's better than Hamilton. They proved it. And I know Hamilton. I would love to see Hamilton move to the Liberty League. They're a New York team. They're kind of a geographic outlier. To the NESCAC.
Yeah, that's actually a good call.
They would fit nicely in with the. It'll never happen, but I think it would be a good match for them.
Athletically, I think it would be a perfect. I don't know the other sports, but I don't think Hamilton is. I would recognize Hamilton if they had, like if they had other programs that were like super elite in the NESCAC. I'm not sure they are. It's generally dominated for the most part by the usual suspects, right? And then you got the laggards that come sort of from behind. But
and again, every year is different. And Hamilton could have a great year one year and stuff like that, but for year in year out competing top of the conference type thing, they would be fantastic in the Liberty.
Not that they would either, but another one I always wonder about is the same thing as like Trinity. Trinity's another one, they can compete on off years, right? But just consistently, I think it's really hard for them.
Well, but Hamilton fits into that Liberty, New
York schools. That's what,
because they're out here, and the whole NESCAC is over here. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it is what it is. ONU, great weekend.
Oh yeah, fantastic weekend for them.
ONU, great weekend, big win. Hope and Calvin.
Yeah.
Ohio.
They got
Wesley
legs, man. I'm telling you, they got legs. ONU's got legs.
It's St. Lawrence with the tie. Good for them, right?
Yeah,
Are we happy? I don't know if we're happy. I can't tell. I'm reading the message. I can't tell if they're happy.
Yeah, I'm as happy as I was in '03.
It never gets old, dude.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I love just saying it. Doesn't matter. I just pull a number, say aught, and there it is.
Yeah, there it is. And then Swarthmore.
Can you believe it?
I was going 2-0.
2-0. I didn't. I was not expecting that.
They might be against a good team.
Oxy.
And then a not good team apparently in Caltech.
Yeah.
They might be too young to know they're not supposed to be winning those games. They've only got 5 seniors.
Oh my gosh.
And only two of them played, at least Friday. So that's a young team.
Yeah.
That Swarthmore team is young. And they only used 3 subs on Friday, and 2 of those subs were the California kids that I was talking about. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so you're going to update you'll update the stats for everybody?
Yeah, I'll provide. On d3soccer.fans, you'll find the leaderboard and then the registration link, and then I'll put all the notes from the games of this week. I'll put them there. So, and I just finished the leaderboard, which I'm doing it pretty arcanely, but I finished the leaderboard. Got
so
top.
What does it look like? D3 Ma and Nutmeg 43 at the
top with 85 points, followed by CrossFit for Fun, Cookie, damn him, CRFD, 3 Soccer, and Scud with 80 points.
Yeah.
And then EJay with 55 and Simple Coach with 45. That doesn't. That kind of masks the atrocious week we had this week. So.
Yeah, and then Soccer Rob at the bottom.
And then Soccer Rob at the bottom with 0.
No, he got 15 the first week.
Soccer Rob's got 15 from the first week.
He got 15 the first week, but 0 last week.
Hopkins 92.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Hopkins 92 with 5 points. Signing your name. So we need one more to participate. We're at 49 from which I think is really, really cool.
So we had 40. Yeah, we had 40. We lost a couple. Lost a couple. From last week, but we picked up a couple. So
yeah. If we once we break 50, once we get 50, I am committing. We hit 50 people that participate
in 1 week or total.
I'll just say total, whatever. So it's just we're one away. We will have a championship prize from All Things Division III Soccer.
So what I think I'm going to do is enter a second
and cheat
entry and call it anti-EJay and just do the opposite. Yeah.
And look,
Bizarro EJay.
Bizarro EJay.
Bizarro EJay. Yeah.
Make an avatar of you like all in squares and right angles. And
That's awesome.
Oh.
All right. Want to talk about this week?
Let's do it.
This weekend?
Yeah.
This weekend. All right. 10 games coming up this weekend. Game number 1. This is for everybody out there. Mary Washington versus the purple Tigers from Mount Union.
So not climactic of you, EJay. Purple Raiders, buddy.
Here we
go.
Raiders. Purple Raiders. There you go.
Here we go.
Yeah. I just wanted to see where you went with this one is really what it came down to.
And I'm going this is all I'm going to say. Go Raiders. That's all I'm going to say. There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else. This one's hard. Although I will say it is Friday the 13th, so maybe Mary Washington, a black cat crosses in front of Mary Washington, and suddenly.
And is this a neutral game? Are they playing?
No, they're going. I think
else?
They're down in Fredericksburg, so they're down.
Are they down in Fredericksburg?
Yeah, down in Mary Washington.
All right. So
that's a hard way to open. That's a hard way to open.
We'll see. Game 2. this might be the game of the week.
Yeah, I think so.
ONU at Colorado College.
Yeah.
So ONU just, we talked about had a great weekend. Beat Hope, beat Calvin. Colorado hasn't given up a goal yet. Were they 4-0, I think?
4-0.
And have not conceded yet. And then after hosting ONU Friday, they host Emory on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
So I think this weekend is going to tell us exactly what we get from Colorado.
I'm a fan of both of these teams. I really am. This is a top 10. This is a top 10, legit top 10 matchup between the two. And they both play really, really well. I will say, because I'm that guy who always, anytime I go to Colorado, the first thing I have to deal with is how crappy I feel because of the lack of oxygen at that level. I am actually going with Colorado College in this game just because of the altitude, because it sucks to be me at a mile.
Right, yeah. So it's good a reason as any.
Yeah.
And mental note, pick against Colorado College.
Yeah. Everyone pick Ohio Northern. No, but they are both they're playing really good.
Yeah.
They're playing really good ball. Really good ball.
Yeah.
And like you said, Colorado College has not conceded.
Yeah.
And and Ohio Northern, aside from that loss
Kenyon was that
to Kenyon
3-2.
Yeah. Like that was I mean, that's unfortunate, but nothing to take away from Ohio Northern. That was not that was a great game.
Polar Bears, right?
Of course.
Purple Polar Bears?
No, they're just the Polar Bears. They're
just
orange,
the Polar Bears? Okay.
Orange and black, or just the Polar Bears. Only one purple. Although, is it blue? Are they blue considered? No, it's Capitals blue. So only purple is Mount Union.
Right.
It's a royal color. So purple is a royal color. So
yes.
We're royal.
It's all starting to make sense now.
Yeah.
It's all starting to make sense.
And then when you go to Alliance, Ohio, it all falls apart. But that's okay.
Game 3.
Game 3.
Wisconsin Whitewater. We did Eau Claire last week. We're doing Wisconsin Whitewater this week, playing at McAllister.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't know much about these teams. A little bit. I think and that's one of the things I like about this pool is it gives me reason to start looking at other teams that I don't know that well.
Yeah.
Whitewater was last year 13-1-5 and missed the tournament at 13-1-5.
They're in the
McAllister
WIAC,
was
right? Like
11-3-5. Yeah. So they got two good teams. I think this is going to be and I'm hoping that most people are like me and know very little about these teams. I know them, but I don't know enough about them to really have an educated guess on these. And I'm hoping everybody else is in the same boat, and it becomes the great equalizer for the pool.
So this is really interesting. The match is really interesting to me for that very reason. I know Whitewater. We don't like Mount Union people don't like Whitewater, but soccer wise, they're actually pretty good. They have some. They're actually pretty good. I think they just play in a pretty competitive. It's the WIAC or whatever it is. Right. And McAllister reminds me of Carleton of last year, right? Was it 3-0, 4-0, whatever they are? They beat Luther today. Oh, they're off to a 4-1 start. And Whitewater's 3-1, and they just beat Cornell today. So this is a tough match.
This is a good. Like I said, I'm familiar enough with them to know that they're good teams.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're good or anything like that, but I've known them for some time, and I'm excited to see dig into it a little bit.
Yeah. This next one I like. But...
Game 4, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Division III equivalent of the Army Navy game.
Yeah.
It's U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at the Coast Guard Academy.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Whatever the outcome is, it's one of those where it's like celebrate those guys. So I don't know as much about the Merchant Marine, but I interviewed the coach. I interviewed Coach Parsons at Coast Guard, and to hear what these guys go through, even before they step on the soccer field, you're like, holy smokes! You got to have a pretty incredible respect for them.
I love Parsons. I played for Parsons.
You did? Oh, wow!
Back in the day.
Wow.
I like Chris a lot. I was a big fan of his. And the Merchant Marine Academy, I didn't know much about them either. So I had to look it up. I'm like, what exactly? So, fun fact. I want the Merchant Marine fun fact.
Yes, I like fun facts.
It is one of the 5 service academies, but all its students are civilians, and they're Navy reservists. So they're not technically enlisted military.
So the Coast Guard is considered military. Merchant Marine then would not, even though it is a service academy.
Correct.
But that's because they do not captain warships. They captain like freighters and other types of. Is that accurate?
Yes. Yeah. They're basically transport. Sea transport. Sea transportation. Yeah. I mean, they're used. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody smarter than us that can give us all the details on it. But I mean, like this, I was poking around, like, what is the Merchant Marine Academy? I really don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting. The aside from that angle, the other interesting fact here is the Merchant Marine Academy. They're 3-1. They've won games 4-1, 5-1, and 4-1.
Yeah.
So they've scored a couple goals. Coast Guard is 3-0, and they also have not given up a goal yet.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
This is one of those like every so often you end up with these where these games where both teams are sort of going down a really positive path, right? From a record perspective and the games they're playing, and then they meet up, and it's almost this could be a defining game for either one of them, I think, right? Like to just.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think they're both going to want this game because of who their opponent is. But again, this is one of those. Ultimately, I don't know that it really carries much weight beyond
the game.
The game. Yeah,
it's bragging rights,
right?
Right. But I will. To me, it's regardless of the outcome. This is just awesome. I love it. I wish I could. Yeah. I wish I could be there. Like I said, I think it adds some fuel to the fire that they're both having really great starts to the season. So,
yeah, no, this is I think an exciting matchup. So I'm happy about that one. I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good find. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah, it's a really good pick.
Yeah,
really good pick. Where they're at
Friday
Coast Guard.
Games.
They're at Coast Guard. Lovely, one of the most beautiful places to play a game, if you ask me. Like, even though it's turf, but right there on the Thames, just fantastic view. Like, haven't been there on the coldest day of the year, it seemed, but what a cool place! What a really cool place.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So,
no, that'll be a good environment. Okay, so those are all Friday. Those 4 games are Friday. Saturday.
Here we go.
Amherst playing Williams.
Williams.
Williams. So for Williams, they just hosted Tufts and now they host Amherst.
Yeah.
Right. So right back into the fire for them.
Yeah.
I suspect that Amherst will win this game as well, but. I think this is a good test again for Williams. Williams is not going to want to have those two back-to-back home losses.
I think this is going to be tight, chippy, and physical. Like I think these are 2 very similar ways of approaching the game, and I think you're going to see that.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
think you're going to see. I think it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I think it's going to be chippy. I don't. Again, I think it's neither team backs down from a tackle. Neither team is afraid to get physical, and and sometimes they relish it. And I just think we could see that play out. I think we'll see it play out.
I think this is going to be a big game for the pool because I think you're going to see a lot of love for Amherst again.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
But what's the score? Is this 1-0?
Yeah,
is this 3-1?
Yeah.
What do you got going on here?
I have a hard time. Am I the only one that has a hard time thinking like multiple goals in a NESCAC game? And I'm not saying that there never is, but it's a hard. I'm like I can't conceive of Williams allowing 2 goals.
Right.
I don't know why. There's no science to it. It's just an impression that I have.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, because I think a lot of those games do end up 1-0.
Yeah.
It's a slugfest, and somebody manages to put one away in the 79th minute.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened again. Amherst dominates play but can't score because Williams does everything they can do to maintain, and then suddenly, they score. Amherst scores on a corner or whatever late in the game.
Chaos.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
No. Yeah. Yep. I agree. All right. Next up,
Game 6. Ohio Wesleyan at Otterbein. So my thought here was this is just a good solid game.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's necessarily the best game, but there's a lot of unremarkable games this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think this is just a good solid game.
Yeah.
Otterbein picked up a nice win over Case, but then they just lost to a good Texas Lutheran team.
Yeah.
Ohio Wesleyan just stumbled against Hope. And nobody saw that coming, really.
Although I do think up until that point, I think they've been pretty flawless to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, I think they've been really good. You're right. I just think it's a really tough matchup. And this is another one where it's like whoever loses, it doesn't bother me. Again, there's always how they're going to lose and what have you. But I think if it's as tight as I think it's going to be, neither of it's going to impact my thinking about the team if they lose 1-0 or 2-1 or just because I think they're both capable teams.
If someone needs the game, though, I would say it's Otterbein.
Yeah.
I think Ohio Wesleyan could lose it, and it's not the end of the world. Not that it's the end of the world for Otterbein either, but I think they need it a little bit more.
I think I think where the Cardinals are going to want to have some consistent, they're looking for consistency, or as I'm looking for them to have some consistency. Right. I think Ohio Wesleyan is showing that by and large, I think the way they've been playing, they're showing it, and then the results are following. And I think they just need some consistency there to care, if they want to be ranked as high as they're aspiring to be, I think, or they want to reach levels that they're aspiring to be and compete with the likes of John Carroll, they really need to game in, game out, start delivering the goods, right? I think that's
and that's why I say they need this one a little bit.
Yeah. So
not the end of the world, but they need it.
Yeah.
Next game's a similar Game 7, very similar type matchup. Loris at Gustavus.
It's another good old-fashioned game. I don't know where you're getting these, but this is another good, a good quality matchup.
It's a solid, It's a solid game. It's just a good, solid matchup.
Yeah.
It's a rematch from last year, which is nice to see. I'm always a big fan of rematches, especially out of conference rematches. I like when they play each other, multiple years. Adolphus is having a good season. What are they, 3-0-1, I think? They beat Chicago at the season opener.
Yeah, which was unexpected. I think it's like not expected. Yeah.
Right. No. So they're on a nice little streak, and Loris, likewise. They last year Loris was 12-4-4.
Yeah.
one of those
They're
draws.
just right under. They're just right under the rate. The radar sometimes.
Yeah.
They pop up. You're like, oh, these guys are good, and then their results don't go their way, and then you just kind of. I was surprised at how Gustavus is actually doing so far, and just sort of winning the games. The Chicago game was huge, but they're just sort of doing the work they need to get done. You know what? Loris only lost to Wheaton, which I don't think is terrible. But also, I think the week's going to be interesting because they face Concordia as well. Before Gustavus, it's that Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with the pool that's interesting is I got to do this early.
Yeah.
I put these matchups together. Sunday, Monday. For the weekend to give everybody time to pay attention, but there's a lot of times there's usually a good game midweek.
Yeah. That's an indicator to me.
That could change absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah,
can change everything. That's why I hate it. That's why I do it. As soon as I decide to do it, I do it and submit it. I'm done, and right. I don't think about it anymore. Which is why I have 5 points this week. But
well, somebody came in to the pool. Because I close it usually I usually close it around midnight on Thursday. Sometimes I'll do it early Friday morning. If I miss it, I'll close it like 6 o'clock Friday morning or something like that. Somebody came in at like the very last minute this past week, and it was one of the regulars, and I think it was FC Grizzlies grad who came in very, very late and got 35 points, which this week is a good score.
He should be penalized for being late.
I'm like, you're on something.
Yeah, he should be penalized for being late.
Yeah. We'll give 5 of his points to you.
Thank you. I'm taking them.
Taking them.
Hey, I control the leaderboard, at least the public one, so I really could have some fun.
This is true. That's too funny. Game 8.
Interesting.
I teased this one the other day because it said it was a team I was interested in following to see what goes on with them. And then I saw that they actually had a decent matchup this week. So I picked Vassar at Oneonta. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, as soon as I say that, Vassar goes out and loses.
Yeah. It was tight. I mean, they went down, 2-0?
They were down 3-0 to Brandeis.
Yeah.
And then they got 2 back in the final 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And then almost pulled it out. Yeah. So they ended up losing 3-2. Yeah. And then Oneonta, I don't know who do they have this week? Who do they play during the week? I feel sorry for that team.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to get pounded.
It's going to
because Oneonta gave up that late PK to tie with St. Lawrence.
And that's a game. It's not only like the PK and the last minute PK, but it's St. Lawrence. And no, God, I'm not sure what else makes it bad for somebody like Oneonta.
And then did you see the goal today, the Hobart goal today against Oneonta to tie it? In like the 83rd minute. I don't know who, because I didn't look at it, so I should probably look at it so I can give the kid his props. Unbelievable goal from Hobart, kid from Hobart. Mm-hmm. He stepped in the box, in the corner of the box, steps through 2 defenders, and then a rocket into the far corner. Beautiful goal. You got to go check it out.
Will Slayton from Hobart. 82 minutes. Goal. All right, I'm gonna. Will Slayton, shout out to you for the dramatic goal.
He's the today's shout out. What a great goal. What a great goal that was. Good for him. All right. Yep. So find that one, take a look at it. You'll like that.
I was looking
Oneonta, who they play midweek.
Midweek they play Utica on Wednesday before they play Vassar on Saturday, which
so I'm gonna go 6-0 over Utica. Sorry.
Sorry, Utica people. what's there? Yeah, I could see a sixer going fiver maybe.
Okay.
Like get the momentum right. Like that'll be a
Yeah.
game where only I'm just like momentum.
Well,
Let's get fired up. Let's get some
they
goals.
have to be. I mean, they tie. Two
Yeah,
ties that where they
anger. They should
arguably
have
shouldn't have
normally
tied
won.
either one of
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
and they're gonna
At
come out
home,
guns blazing.
at home. They tied those two games at home. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, Utica's
yeah,
going to be on the short end of the stick,
yeah.
and I think Vassar is going to be up for that game. I think that's going to be a great game.
Regarding Vassar, I'll tell you if you've watched them over the last couple of years under Coach Jonathan Hood, night and day, like where they are now. That's why I'm not even today. Whatever the 3-2 loss doesn't phase me. It's like
Right.
you saw so much character out of that team that I don't think you would have seen in the past, and I think I think this is a team you're gonna be reckoning with, and the Liberty's gonna have to deal with them.
Yeah.
They're just going to be a power. They're just going to be a really powerful team in there. So
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely.
and their field's pretty awesome. Like if you just it's
Beautiful. Yeah.
So,
Indeed. Yeah. All right. Game 9.
Game 9.
Sunday. So those are Saturday. Sunday.
Yeah.
Now we're on to Sunday.
Sunday, bloody Sunday. Here we go.
This is a brutal matchup. Connecticut at Tufts. And I mean, I sound like a broken record when I talk about these NESCAC games. Like, this is a big game, two great teams. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both going to make the NESCAC playoffs, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how it ends up, but again, I don't think it really matters much in the big picture.
Yeah. What the good thing is like I think both teams kind of respect each other. They're two different ways of playing. But when they play against each other, it's like two teams that slog it out in the way they slog it out, right? Like, and I just think it's going to be. I do think goals will be had. But I do think it could very well end up being 1-1. Because I think of the way they play, and I think sort of the way. Again, I hate to say, it's NESCAC, but I almost feel like sometimes a lot goes out of the window in these games just to try to get results or not allow yourself to get resulted. So
where does Con play Middlebury this year?
Good question. I don't know.
And the reason why I'm asking is, Connecticut, Tufts, Amherst, and Middlebury are probably your top 4, right?
4, yeah.
And then a couple close, Williams right there, but I think those are probably your top 4.
Yeah.
So Connecticut had to go to Amherst. Now they're going to Tufts.
Yeah.
Are they going to Middlebury?
They are going to Middlebury. Oh no, that's women. So, but they would be if they're going. I don't think they do. I think they all go at the same time. Yeah, they're going to Middlebury. They play Tufts, and then on Sunday, and then the next week they go all the way to Colby. Like they're not back home. Oh, no, they play Colby at home. Away. They're not back home playing at home until the first week in October when they play Trinity and.
So they get Connecticut gets like Trinity, Wesley, and Hamilton.
Trinity,
they get those guys home.
Bates, Williams, and Wesleyan will come back. So. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to go to Tufts, Amherst, and Middlebury. That's tough.
The front end, the hard front end, right? Like that's really hard to do. I always wondered. I thought if I was really enterprising, especially for the NESCACs, like the NESCAC champions, the NESCAC champions, like the teams that win, what does their schedule look like? And is it more balanced? Are they home, or is it more balanced? Do they travel 1 week, come back a week, just to see what sort of influence that has. And the only reason why I think about that is because someone once told me that teams in the NESCAC that win the national championship don't win the NESCAC tournament.
No, they don't.
And so that gives them time to rest and to what have you. And Connecticut, when they won the national championship, they did not win the NESCAC.
And that's why I say, even being the number one seed doesn't win you the NESCAC tournament.
No.
That's why I called it hockey. Just get into the playoffs.
Just get into the playoffs.
I mean, they've had the 8th seed win the tournament.
It's just bizarre.
You just get into the tournament.
Yeah.
Just be one of those 8 to get in, and you got a chance.
Yeah.
So that's Sunday, and then we got one more Sunday, our last game, number 10.
Dun, dun, dun. What are we doing? It's
Catholic.
a good one. It's a good one.
Catholic is going to CNU, Christopher Newport.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Nice place to play.
Beautiful school.
Yeah.
Christopher Newport's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of Catholic yet. Catholic's 2-2.
Yeah.
Right? They beat Washington and Lee, and they just beat Kings
College today.
They lost to Rowan and Cortland.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've got a new coach.
Yeah.
Right? So I think
lost to Cortland, a shorthand Cortland team for 3/4 of the game, mind you. They were 1-1 when Cortland,
and that was a home game too, right? It was in Washington.
Yeah, that's not a good look in my book if you can't.
No.
If you're 1-1 and you ended up, but so this is terrible. So I apologize in advance to all of my Catholic Cardinal friends out there, and Christopher Newport, which I think has the capacity, kind of like the women, to be a pretty elite team. They're just not there yet. But these strike me right now as two good teams. They're two good teams that, again, aspire to be better than that. They're just not there yet.
Well, I think at Newport, Justin Chisholm is the coach, and he took over 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
From what's his name that was there forever, and he's been tasked with keeping Christopher Newport at that level of where they used to be, and I think he's falling just a little bit short of those expectations. I'm not suggesting it's him or an indictment of him. I'm just saying, historically, Christopher Newport was always a little bit better than they have been in the last couple of years. They haven't lost this year. They're 2-0-2, but I don't think they had any games of interest really either. Nothing.
They made it to the second round last year of the tournament.
Yeah.
The question is the coast to coast. Like I always wonder, how big of a deal the conference winning that conference is for. Just because how dispersed it is. I don't know if that's because usually you win a conference, it's a big deal. You still there? Sorry, just sort of something freaked out.
I think eventually they got to find a place somewhere, right?
Yeah.
In a real conference.
I would. Yeah. I don't know the value.
Sorry, real conference. Oh, sorry, you're gonna get the hate mail for that one.
No, sorry. I am not. I'm forwarding it on to you. You kidding me? Yeah, no, but and they made it to the third round the year before. So I mean, they're good. They're good. I think there is. I always get the sense look, the women have gotten to that elite level, and I think the next step is for the men to take that jump, and I think. They have everything going for them there. Christopher Newport, right? Just what a school. The soccer pool around there is incredible. So
it's someone described it to me as the Virginia version of Montclair State.
Yeah. Really?
And
that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
I kind of see the similarities. and you're right. I mean, they have been a tournament team. I mean, like, you hear we're kind of disrespecting them a little bit. They've been to the second and third round the last 2 years, but I don't think they. I don't think people fear playing them the way they used to.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I can see that might be the case. Yeah, I can understand that.
So I think Catholic. It'll be interesting to see how Catholic does.
But I also like, and I'm trying to be a little bit more like this. I've been very hands off in making judgment calls on teams and sort of where they're at. But I do think like, hey, there are some teams out there that make the second round of the NCAA, and I wonder, man, you fell short. You know, like I think I expect more. Again, I always say, because they're right next door, Montclair is the same way. It's like, man, I expect more of you. You might think you had a great. I expect more. Just looking at, and I think I put Christopher Newport in there for whatever reason. I just have this thing like I think they should be better. Catholic, I think you should be better. Like
So I think so, and again, I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Rowan last week. How their schedule is absolutely brutal, and I'm a big proponent of Rowan this year, and I think they're a good team. Rowan's going down to Newport, right? They're going down. They're playing Mary Washington and Christopher Newport.
Yeah, they're Mary Washington. I'm trying to look. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, Rowan's got that brutal schedule. I can't believe the games they're playing. That's crazy.
And it's funny thing is like, does that count anymore?
Right.
They play Rowan. Right. They play on the 20th, 21st. They play Rowan.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, does that matter anymore? Like last year, it mattered. You had to have the strength of schedule, blah blah blah. All that kind of stuff mattered. Now with the whole pairwise, does that matter? I don't know. I don't know if it matters.
Well, maybe not for tournament's sake, but for preparing you to play.
Oh, agreed. Like there's no. If I were a coach, I would still be like, how do I get as many ranked teams as possible?
Right.
Like you're not gonna win if you're aspiring to win a national championship, you're not gonna win a national championship if you're just playing, bottom teams. Like it just doesn't work that way. You need good teams. So,
yeah.
So.
All right, so those are the 10 games.
Those were the 10. All right.
Yeah. So I'll
make it easy.
I'll create that. I'll send you the link for that tonight, and
we'll talk about the math. We'll talk about the math that we have to make happen to put us at. You do a lot of this work of picking the games, so I will graciously allow you to manipulate the numbers so that you end up first. So long as I come like second, I'm okay. That's okay.
I don't even think I could manipulate the numbers.
I think we're so far away, like the mathematics. We haven't invented this kind of mathematics.
I'm actually this close though, right? I had Rowan, and Rowan, almost got that win.
They heard.
That bumps me up 15 points. I get that game right,
and
everybody
you're not
else
even talking to me at that point. You're like, Paul, I can't talk to you anymore because you're so far gone.
Then I start doing these conversations with Cookie. Is what it is.
Do we know who Cookie is? We don't know who Cookie is.
We don't. Cookie's going to come out of the woodwork eventually.
Cookie. We're going to find out he's like this high-level IRS agent, and we're going to both get audited. My immediate global multimedia empire is going to come crashing because it's been audited by the IRS.
It's going to be some 12-year-old soccer nerd.
Has no idea. Colors.
Whose older brother is a freshman at,
Oh, Lord.
Something. So,
All right. So
that's it.
This is going to go out. We'll have it on the page with the links to the leaderboard and the registration to participate. And it'll be on d3soccer.fans. And yeah, we'll keep going.
Awesome.
All right.
Nice chatting with you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on a good week.
Yeah. I'm starting to like you as much as I like my appendicitis. All right.
Go Purple Stallions.
Yeah. All right,
Raiders,
we're out of here.
Raiders.
Yeah. They'll get you. I'm telling you, I'm going to find a way to get at you. One of these ways. Find my friend to go take care of you. Yeah. All right, see you, Eric.
Take care.
Okay.